Things like climate change and diseases that pandemic were decided to be used by people concerned about population, for which is no evidence of real concern. They decided at the same time to frighten you with diseases and changes to climate. And after that, there was a diaspora of propaganda. People might say you're not qualified, but I'm very qualified to read the scientific literature. So I've found at least 3 or 4 people who've spent longer in atmospheric science and climate than I've spent in pharma R&D. And there is no question that there is no significant change to the climate of the world since pre-industrial times. Some people think it's a degree warmer or so. We're not sure. We weren't measuring it very much. Where do you think they got the temperature data from when there were virtually no thermometers? And they weren't calibrated to each other, and no one checked what the records really said. So this idea that they know it's 1.5 degrees, it's a lie. The temperature of the world has changed much more than that repeatedly in geological history. But the key thing you should know is there is no connection between CO2 in the air and the temperature of the surface. Because people say, oh, it's a greenhouse gas. It's like, yeah, we don't live in a greenhouse. A greenhouse is a closed system. If you modify CO2 in the atmosphere, a pretty much open system, all that happens is the bits that are warm transfer their energy to other atoms and then they radiate them back out into space. The reason we know this is that there are ice cores from deep polar ice that have been looked at by several independent groups. What they all show is, yes, temperature has modified over time. Atmospheric CO2 has modified over time. Here's the important information. Changes in temperature always preceded change in atmospheric CO2. Atmospheric CO2 moves in response to the change in temperature. Warm water doesn't hold as much CO2. The seas are big. There's a lot of volume of the sea, so there is a lag. But after temperature of the air has warmed up, after a large lag, the sea warms as well. It releases some of its CO2. Everybody knows a fizzy drink loses its bubbles, which is CO2 dissolved. It loses its fizz when it warms up. Warm water holds less CO2 than cold water. When the Earth warms due to changes in solar output, modification of our non-circular orbit, alteration of the angle of the Earth to the solar ecliptic, any of those things and maybe others, whatever it was that makes the Earth warm or cool, the CO2 movement takes place afterwards and in the same direction. So all of this fear-mongering about burning fossil fuels, adding CO2, and that will change the Earth's climate, it is a lie.